Hey guys, my name is Sanjay Raj and welcome back to a brand new video. And this video I'm bringing you guys a React and Redux project where we're going to be building a basic login system using React and Redux, and we're going to be implementing things such as slices and creating stores and managing the data in the React stores and all the folder structures and all those good stuff. And before we do get started, I'm so sorry for not uploading for quite a while. I guess it's around 2 months because I was having my exams and I was focusing on that more, and I couldn't focus on the video section as well. So from now you could expect a lot of videos to be coming up on YouTube, and that's pretty much it, guys. Sorry. So if you want to follow me on social media and be updated, all will be linked in the description down below, which you can check it out. So now I'll actually show you guys a demo on the project that we're going to be building. This is it. So we got a login here, just a basic heading with an emoji, and then we got an import for name, email and password. So for name, I'm just going to put my name and my business email. So if you want to contact me, you could, for any professional work or something, you could email me with that. So I'm just going to give a random password. So password 123 or something. So if I click on submit, it just takes me to this website, this section of the page. So it says welcome Sanjay Raj, which is the exact name that I put in the form. So I could also click logout. So how are we implementing Redux here, which is such a small app that we are building? Why is Redux required? This is just to get an understanding of how React and Redux could be integrated and how basically Redux works. So if you go to the state, I'm using the Redux developer tools, which you could download and should download, and will be helpful for you if you're trying to expand your knowledge on Redux. So I've gone to Redux, and if I go to state entry, user, I could see all the information that is stored in the Redux store, such as the name, email and password. I don't know what I just typed, but logged in is true. So basically we are logged in. So if I click on log out, all the data is just gonna go, it's gonna set it back to null, which is the default value. So that's what I'm going to be doing, guys. I'm just not going to be focusing much on the CSS. I'll be having a GitHub link in the description down below. Therefore you could clone it and get the CSS out of it, or any help with the code, that would be useful. So let's just get started coding. So I've got a basic folder here called my app. I just got it. So I'm just going to delete the source folder. First of all, we're going to do it from scratch. So I'm going to open a new folder called source, and inside these are the basic files for index, basic files for React, index.js and app.js. So right here I'm gonna import a couple of things. Import React from React, also import React DOM from React DOM, and then from the React DOM we're gonna render the app component. So these are just basics, we're just getting started. So we're gonna render that to the root ID, which is in the public folder inside of the index.html, and inside the app.js I'm just gonna say RAFCE, so which is gonna get this boilerplate. So how did I get it? I used a Chrome extension called ES7 React Redux GraphQL React Native Snippets, so which a lot of people do have. So it will be ideal if you could get it. So RAFCE is the snippet code which you could type in order to get this. So just for now I'm just gonna say app, and if I go over here, so that's gonna auto import it for me, so it won't show up any errors. So just to see if it's working, I'll start up the server, so by typing npm start, and that's gonna run my scripts and compile it, and I'll get back with you guys after the server is up. So okay guys, the server is up and running on port 3001 because the port 3000 is already running on the actual project. So first of all, what we have to do is I'll open up a folder called components, which is going to first of all, let's build up the UI of the website. So we're going to be basically having a login component here. So once all the data is submitted, this is going to go to the logout component. So these are the two main components that we're going to be focusing on. So let's get started by opening up a folder called components, and inside of this, first of all, let's say login.js. So I'm going to do the same thing, RAFCE. So inside of this, for the head div, I'm gonna have a class name called login, and then I'm gonna have a form. Okay, this form is going to handle all the inputs and the submit that we're going to be, and all the inputs that we're going to be submitting to the Redux store. So this is going to handle all of that. So let's also give a class name of login form. So basically so this way of writing classes is called BEM. You could actually take a look at it on Google. So clever programmer, those developers actually use this. So this will be kind of a good way to name your classes. Okay, so we are gonna have a h1 which says login here, and just we are gonna have a emoji. Then we'll have an input. This is going to be the name input. First of all, we're going to have the name input, then the email, then the password. Okay, so the name will be the type will be equals to name, and then we will deal with the state for later, but I'm just gonna make the placeholder to name, duplicate it 3 times. So this is going to be email, and the third one is going to be password, and just change the placeholder to the relevant ones, password. And if you go check out our app, reload, okay, we should render it on our app.js. So you don't need to import it and then render it. I guess it's going to be in everyone's machine, so you could just type login, and if it says auto import from, you could just click on enter, and that's gonna auto import it for you. Or else there's some naming issues, so you would have to import it by yourself. So right now we have everything here. So that's the login component, and let's deal with the state for now. It's not that complicated, it's pretty much easy. So I'm gonna have a variable to hold the name, and just say const name, and set name, which is the hook that we're going to be using in order to change the name. So I'm going to say use state. That's going to be a string type, so I'm going to duplicate that 3 times here, and I'll say email and password. So the same here, set email, set password. Basically this means the variable, this is the variable name. This is the hook that we're going to be using in order to update the variable name. Okay, so that's that. And for each and every input, for the individual inputs, we're going to give the value to its variable. So for name, we are going to put the value of it to the variable name, and we're going to update it as the user types on more characters. Okay, so for email, we're going to put email, and for password, we're going to put password. Okay, also as the user changes the input, we want to get the text that the user is typing and set it to the name variable. We want to change the name variable. Okay, so I'll just say on change equals e, and then you put arrow function, and you put set name, which is going to be equals to e.target.value, which is going to hold the input of the user. So that's going to be real time, so it's going to function as same as a normal input without these functionalities. But the main thing is that we are storing it in its relevant variables. So I'll just change the hook names, set password, so double S, set password, set email, and that's pretty much done. And so if we go, it's the same functionality as we had before. And now that login is done, we're going to be focusing on the logout component. So I'll open up a new, no, let me make the styles for login.js. So I'll open up a file inside of components called login.css, and as I told guys, we're not going to be focusing on the styling. So I will leave the GitHub link in the description, so you could just copy and paste it. It's not that necessary, it's just a small piece of code here. So this is it. We are making the div to be centrally aligned. So as we can see here, centrally aligned here. So display flex direction column, justify content center, align item center, and height 100 vh, which is going to align it in the center of the screen. And logout button, sorry, that's supposed to, oh wait, this is logout. Let me get login. So this is it guys. This is to align it to the middle. This is to make the form horizontally aligned, yeah. And then this is styling for the h1, this for the input, and this for the button. So it's basic styling. So I'll save this, I'll go to login.js, and I'll import the styling. So I'll say import / because it's in the same folder, login.css. So now if we go here and refresh, I think it should apply all the styles, and we should get it in centrally aligned. Okay, so while that's being done, let's go and add some CSS for the app. So I'll go to the source folder and open up a new file called app.css. I also have a little bit of styles for app.css, yeah, very little bit. So this is it. We are making margin 0, padding 0, box sizing, border box, and we're making it a little bit of a grayish background, and I'm going to be importing that as well into the app component. So / app.css. So let's see, yeah, so the background is all applied. So now we have to create a button for the form, for the login form. So it should be a type submit because we are using a form. So button type of submit, it should be a type of submit, and also we're gonna give it a special class. So we are using bem here as well, submit btn, and it's simply just gonna say submit. So if you go ahead and check, it's looking the same as this except for the capital letters, so that does not matter. After that, we're going to deal with the logout component. I'll say logout.js, and I'll now itself I'll open a file called logout.css as well. So in here I'm gonna say rafce just to get the boilerplate code, and then I'm gonna make this, let that be like that. I'm gonna have h1 which is gonna say welcome, and then I'll just have a span which is gonna just say the name of the user. So as you guys can see, if I put in here, so this is the name. So if I click on submit, it says welcome name, and the name specifically has another color. So that's the functionality that we want to make by having another span here. So inside of the span, inside of the span we'll just say, just for now, my name, and I'll put a class name called username, and right after that I'll have a button with a class name of logout button, and that's basically gonna say logout as well. And that's pretty much it. And I have some CSS for logout as well. So I'll copy that, paste it here. So this is basic. This is just to align it to the middle as well. This is for the button, and this is for the username that we created just here. So this, I want that just to stand out. So it's basic. If you don't want, you could not have it. And I'll cut all the CSS, and we only need JavaScript for now. So as you guys can see, the UI is pretty much done. I'm sorry, here the UI is pretty much done. So we could work on implementing Redux. So the first step of implementing Redux, we are gonna basically have a little bit of folder structure here, and I'll create a app folder inside of source, and I'll create a file called store.js. So this is going to globally hold all of the Redux that is going to be used in our app. So inside of the source, I'm also going to be using opening up a folder called features. And so as I said, we will be implementing slices. So slices basically mean a part of the data structure that we are using in Redux. So you could think of it as an onion. So sorry guys, that was something else. So you could just think of it as something being pushed into the data layer of Redux. So we're having something as a slice inside of Redux. So that's basically, this is similar to context API, but a little bit more complicated. So it's useful for big applications, large applications. Okay, so inside of features, I'm gonna have a slice called user_slice.js, and yeah, so we have to install a couple of things. So I'll open up a new terminal. You could go to the Redux website itself. They have everything that you would have to install. So I'll just copy this, I'll paste it right here. And also you would have to install Redux itself in order to get some of the stuff. So I'll install everything and I'll get back with you guys. Okay guys, so I've installed everything. I've installed Redux as well as redux.js/toolkit. There's one more thing that I would have to install. So npm install react-redux. So this is going to have all the slices and all the methods that you could use in order to create slices, dispatch, and all those kind of stuff. So let it install for a while. Okay, now that it's installed, you could start working with the user slice. So the first part of it is you want to import create slice from redux.js/toolkit, and give me a minute. Yes, and then export const. So the name of this slice is going to be user slice, and that will be equal to create slice. So if you work with constructors, this would be kind of familiar. And then the first part of it is going to be name. Okay, the name of the name of the slice is going to be user. So the name of the function is user slice, but the name of the store, I think, is going to be user. And then you want to specify a initial value. So initially the data that you're going to be using should hold a value. So for us, we are going to be holding the data of the user, which is going to be null at the start, meaning that the user has not logged in. So after that, we're going to specify reducers, which is going to act as a function that we're going to use in order to update our state or update our Redux state. Okay, so first of all, we're going to have something called login, and that is going to take in the state and the action, and this is going to be a function. As I said, this is similar to a function. So why are we taking the state and the action? The state means that we're going to update the state. So we are taking the state so that we could update it, and the action is going to be the data that is going to be passed to us. So once we log in, we are going to use the data, which is the action.payload. So we are going to learn that as well, and we are going to update the payload to the user. So what we do is we say state.user will be equals to action.payload. So the user will be updated by the payload that is being passed in. So as we do, you will get more of it. So we're also going to be using logout. So when we are logging out, we do not need to update the state with any value. We should just run it so that we could set the value to null. So we'll just say state. So we don't need a payload. We are not updating any values or email of it. So you could just say state.user will be equal to null, and that's pretty much it. We should export everything. So there are three parts of exporting this. The first is you should export the actions that are being performed, login and logout, and then you should export the state in case you want to globally access the state, and then you want to export the reducer itself in case we are using the store, so we need the reducer. So export const login and logout. So these are the actions. So actions meaning it should be user slice dot actions. So that's done. After that we want to export the state, so that's going to be export const. So let's give it a name of select user, because we're going to be using a hook that is going to help us to grab the data from Redux. So therefore it's easy to put the name select and then the variable name, and that's going to be coming from the state, and the name of it is going to be state.user.user, because state user is going to be this, and we're going to update it with more information, so that's going to be put into another object of user. So I'll actually explain this with like a tree diagram. It's going to be in Redux developer tools, so we're going to explore that as well after the application is done. So we're going to default export this the reducer, because there's nothing we're going to do with it. So dot reducer. So that's pretty much it. So right now we have implemented Redux. We have actually implemented Redux, but if you go to the Redux developer tools, you wouldn't see Redux being implemented. So there's nothing here. Oh wait. Oh okay. Give me a. So right here I'm not sure why it's showing it, but I guess I installed a Redux template like this. I copied this command, but if you're using Redux and downloading Redux, you're using React and downloading Redux as dependencies, the way you should do it, like I guess you should follow this way of doing it, because it's just more easy and you don't need to depend on downloading the Redux template always. So you import the provider. So you do this in index.js. So import the provider from React Redux, so that's why we installed that, and then we import the store, which we have not yet done, from /app/store. So we're gonna wrap the whole app component. Therefore it's just like context API. You're wrapping the context of provider inside of the app. You're wrapping the app component inside of context or provider. So it's basically like context API. So you wrap the provider and put the app component into it, and you'll just say store will be equals to store. So we'll actually implement the store as well. So okay, inside of the store you want to import configure store. So this is where you're going to be creating the store. We actually were defining the slices and all those kind of stuff. So now you're going to create the store. So also you want to import the reducer that you created. So we created a reducer called user reducer, and that is gonna come from /feature/user slice. So what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna default export this configure store, and the reducer that we wanna export is going to, the name of the reducer is user. So that's what we're gonna specify. The user is what we defined right here. So that will be a good practice, I guess. User reducer, and that's pretty much it. Attempted import does not imported as store. Okay, so if we go to index.js, okay, so if we refresh right now, I guess yeah, it's working. So it's the same thing, but that's the way it's good to do it. So I guess right now if you put in all the data, it's gonna update. It's not gonna update it because we didn't actually add the functionalities. Okay, So if we go to login.js, we have all the values, and then we could do on submit to the form, and we could get the event as well in order to stop the website from refreshing. And you could say handle submit and pass the event as well. So I'll say handle submit, and there's going to be an arrow function which accepts the event. So e.prevent default, and that's going to prevent the website from reloading. And now the basic things that you want to do is outside of this function, you want to say const dispatch will be equals to use dispatch. Okay, so right after that you want to dispatch, meaning you want to input some data into some reducer, right? Some slice or reducer. So this is the reducer that we have, and we're going to dispatch into the login. So dispatch, and you just put login, and that's just not the way you do it. So login, you put the function, that's an object. You want to put some object into the dispatch function, and there are a couple of things that you would have to do. You would set the name to the name variable that we have, email to the email variable we have, password to the password, and you want to set another attribute such as logged in equals true, because those are some of the variables that you would obviously see when you're signing in or logging into any website. So sorry guys if you couldn't hear me, for the mic was not on. So if I click on submit, you could see all the data is right here, and you could see that there's something being performed. So user /login. So right after that, we want to perform a function where once you log in, it's going to take you to a place where you could log out, and then that's going to redirect back to login when you log out. So if you go to app.js right here, you could check if we are logged in or logged out. So the const user will be equal to use selector. So use selector is the hook that we're going to be using in order to get this value, which is going to be select user. So I'll copy that, and I'll type select user, which is going to auto import it for me. So right here I'm just going to write a little bit of JavaScript, and I'm just going to check if the user is present. If the user is present, meaning the user is logged in, you want to show the logout component. If the user is not present, you want to show the login component. So that's pretty much it. So this is the so basically the user is present, so it's showing the logout component. So it has not applied the styles. So let me import the styles from /logout.css. Logout.css. So let me give this a class of logout, and yep, that's done. Okay, I'll put this button outside of the h1, so that's why there was a aligning problem. So now it's done. So let's work on the logout functionality. Now this is pretty basic, guys, so you could work on much large applications with just this basic knowledge, I guess. So in the logout component, what you have to do, you want to update the state. You want to update this you want to use this logout and say that the user is null. Therefore it just goes to the app.js and says that there is no user, and it goes to the login form. So what you have to do first of all is you want to add on click to the button, because once the user clicks on logout only you want to log him out. So I'll just say handle log out. I'll say const handle logout, const handle logout. I'll say e dot prevent default to prevent the website from refreshing. So right here you want to say const dispatch will be equals to use dispatch, and as we did it in the login.js, we are using the dispatch in order to update the state. Okay, so dispatch, and you could now say logout, and you just put the function in there. You don't need to specify any value because we are not taking the action or anything, the payload. We're just setting it to null. So now if you go and check, okay, so this problem is because we put the dispatch out of the function because it acts as a local variable. So right here we are logged in. So once I click on logout, the user is set back to null and we are greeted with the login page. So we could just put another name, another email, and just put a random password, submit. It should be we should be saying welcome and the name of the user. So we want to do that the same thing in the where is it, the logout.js, yeah, right here. And so we'll just say const user will be equals to use selector and select user. So we are getting the select user from here as we are exporting it. Okay, right here I'll just put user user.name, and I guess that will be okay. So welcome Raj, and yeah, it just shows the name here. So if we click on logout, as you guys can see, it shows all of the actual inputs that we put in. So name Raj, email, password, and logged in is true. So if you click on logout, the user is set back to null, and you could actually see all the events that has been fired in. You could skip and all this kind of stuff. So this is a basic understanding. This is just a basic of how Redux works, guys. So I'm sorry for not uploading much videos, and you could expect a lot of videos from now onwards. And that's pretty much it, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. The GitHub link will be in the description down below. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments, and also subscribe to this channel. And thank you for 500 subscribers. We actually crossed more than 500 subscribers, so I'll be doing a special video, I guess, for that itself. And also, guys, I'm currently applying for jobs. So if there's any professional vacancies for a React developer job, which is what I am applying for, I'll have my resume and portfolio linked in the description down below. So if there's any open vacancies available, let me know by shooting or sending an email to my business email, which will be in the description down below, sanjayrajdev@gmail.com. So I would highly appreciate that, guys. Also, you could follow my social media and LinkedIn, and I appreciate all your support, and thank you for 500 subscribers, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video.